So, welcome to the first episode of our podcast, Legit Chicks. The Legit Chicks are Phyllis Rogers, Rhonda McKinnis, and myself, Alese Stroud. So, just a brief introduction for each one of us. I do a lot of things. I'm the entrepreneur in the group. I have a startup called Isaac AI. I'm also an angel investor and a real estate investor. Phyllis?
Well, I am a CFO of AFMC here in Little Rock, and we are doing all kinds of fantastic things for the public, but also I enjoy, spending time at the lake when I'm not working, sometimes with COVID now while I'm working, since we're all working from home. So, but really do just enjoy the lake and my husband and my two little dogs. Rhonda?
And I'm the evolved and enlightened one of the group. Not. I'm the hot mess. I am an attorney. I'm a mom. I'm a dog lover. My dog is joining us and already bored and asleep this evening. I'm living in Arizona now, but a native Arkansan. That's home and always will be. And I'm just super, super excited to be doing this podcast with both of you.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to talk a little bit now about how we met. And so a lot of you may have not ever heard of Vistage, but there are Vistage groups that are typically the CEOs, but there's also Vistage key groups, which are the C-suite. So I joined a key group. Alese's group was merged in with that group, and Rhonda joined as well. So we were the three women in that group, and we bonded instantly and became good friends, have been great friends ever since. And that was, what was that, like 6-7 years ago? So it's
been that long?
It's been a little while.
It's been a little while.
And so now we're 2021. So 7 years ago. That's just amazing how time flies. And the Vistage chair here locally is Barry Goldberg, and Barry will join us on a future episode. So we're looking forward to that. But we also had to battle some of the, the rest of the class for understanding those male cohorts that were in our class, and they were all C-suite as well, but some of them had some great personalities, some of them unique, and we loved getting to know them and made lasting friendships with many of them. And it was an amazing experience, but I think that's what brought us together and bonded us, and we're so glad that it did.
We're so glad that it did. And remember, my favorite part during the Vistage years, as I call them, were when we would get together afterwards, the three of us, and go to Samantha's for wine. That was my favorite part.
Debrief on the whole meeting.
We debriefed. Yeah, debriefed. For sure.
Those are great times. And we'll be again post-COVID, right? We'll get back to it.
So just a little bit about why we decided to do a podcast, because it just kind of came to us one day. I sent out a text. I went back and found where I sent it out on January 11th and said, hey, would you guys think there'd be value in the three of us getting together? Let me back up a little bit. So during COVID, we have spent every Sunday night together with the exception of just a couple. And we talk about all the world's problems and would solve them if someone would turn over the reins to us. But it's just been an absolute delight. We get really vulnerable in our conversations, and no topic is off limits. And so just the thought of bringing that into a podcast, we sort of all jumped on it. The interesting part, we decided that we wanted to talk about things that matter to us, experiences that we've had. We all bring a very different set of experiences to where we are. And we're all, Alese and Phyllis are so different from me. And, we're just all very different from each other. And we have different tasks and different challenges. And so it was fun to think about. We worked really hard the past few weeks to get to this point, and some of us have had to learn more than they're comfortable with. But anyway, that's what we want to do. We want to bring you guests at times and talk about things that matter. We want to highlight some local business owners, small business owners, because we know they're all struggling during COVID. And we want to give them a shout out and give them an opportunity to talk about why you need to shop with them instead of big guys. And then we're going to talk about some really issues that sometimes are tough. And we want your feedback along the way. So that's kind of how we got here.
So you guys have mentioned COVID a couple of times. So how are you doing with that today? Phyllis?
Well, you know, it's crazy how it's evolved. I mean, at first, yes, at first,
Right.
you know, you think we sent all of our employees home in March of 2020, of course, as most people did, thinking, well, this would be for a few months and then we'd all be back at work. And now here we are, you know, almost a year later, coming up on a year later. And it's just amazing to think that everyone has done so well during this as far as work goes. And we've all worked from home. We've been very productive. My dogs have absolutely loved it. I mean, they take turns sitting in my lap during, you know, Zoom meetings and Teams meetings and get on camera from time to time. So they love it. They love having someone here all day with them. Although they do still sleep a lot, but I do think that they love someone here. And, but the challenge has been, you know, the same, looking at the same walls day in, day out, day in, day out. You know, I feel very blessed because we have a place on the lake. So that's kind of the getaway. I can get away over there and work from there or just get away on the weekends. And so I think a change of scenery is so important. I mean, after a couple of months, I would just get in the car and drive sometimes. If I had a conference call, I would just get in the car and take the conference call in the car just to be outside driving, not really any destination, but it made me feel better to be moving more. And although I needed to be walking the neighborhood, that would have been healthier for me, but no, I got in my car. But I think that's important to change things up every once in a while.
Yeah.
And that's really helped me. So Rhonda, what about you?
I've struggled, as you both know, and you've had to hear about on Sunday nights. I too, when we were sent home on March 21st, and at the time I was planning on still taking my much anticipated trip to Paris and London for my birthday in April. And I was delusional enough to still think, oh, I'm going to go. And of course that didn't happen. And I rebooked my plans for September. And of course that didn't happen either. And so it was a very long summer. We're going to get into all this in later episodes, but after moving out to Arizona, I went through a breakup and then I went through breast cancer. And then literally the month after I finished my radiation treatments, COVID hit. And I will tell you, it has been really tough. I have gotten through it with these wonderful people that I adore more than I could ever say. They've been there for me literally every week. And my daughter FaceTimes me every day and has come to visit some. And I have my dog Princess that has gotten me through, but it's been really hard. I am vaccinated. I think I may be the only one that's vaccinated of the three of us, because I work for a healthcare system. And so now with that being vaccinated, I feel there's a part of me that wants to get out and go do things now, but I know that I can still carry the virus. And obviously things aren't opened up. So it is, I take a day at a time. Alese, what about you? How are you feeling?
Those of you who know me well know that I love to hug people. Yeah, I'm very social. And so poor Doug Stroud, he's having to put up with my missing all of that. And we used to love to go out to dinner with people all the time. And a close friend of mine invited us out this weekend today, as a matter of fact, and I just couldn't. I'm drawing a hard line on not doing anything like that until we're both vaccinated, and that may be a while. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. And I get tired of my own cooking. although we do take out now and again. That's our little cheat. Um, we were already working from home, so that wasn't a big deal for Doug and I. But the fact that we can't get out and go do in-person meetings has been hard. At
Mhm.
least for me. Doug doesn't care. He's fine. Um, I signed a new client today, and yay! Um, Normally, I would go meet with them in person and spend some time getting to know them, and you can't do that as well over Zoom. It's just not the same. It's not like taking them out to lunch and getting to know who they are as real people, so you can work with them better. So,
Well, I have a colleague that started, a new attorney that started in July, and we interviewed him during COVID, and still have not met him except over Zoom. So now that we're all vaccinated, we are going to an outdoor patio at the very end of February, and I will meet my colleague for the first time. It will be masked and everything, but it's just so strange. It is so strange.
it is. And the fact that the state of Arkansas is being so slow to vaccinate people is very frustrating.
Is
When
it
they
a distribution issue or is it a lack of, because we're having trouble getting enough vaccine in Arizona. We have the sites up and ready to go and they need vaccine. So what is the issue in Arkansas?
Phyllis probably has better insight on that than I do.
Well, yeah, I think it's the lack of vaccine because even though the numbers look like we haven't given all the vaccine out, we have to save, the state has to save doses for the second dose. So if they've given somebody a first, they have to save enough to be able to do the second dose. But I do think that some of the more frail Arkansans are struggling getting in. I mean, right before this, I learned of our next door neighbors at the lake who are elderly, and the wife is having surgery in a few weeks, and they have been trying and trying to get the vaccine and just coming up short. So I'm gonna see what I can do to help, but it really is tough, especially for the elderly. A lot of times don't know how to navigate the systems. They don't know, they don't
It
use
was
the web
hard.
to,
The sign up system I found challenging.
yeah, so we're going through, a lot of the pharmacies are doing it and they all have their own website to sign up, and hundreds of people have signed up. I signed my mother-in-law up, and because she doesn't even have internet. So
Hmm.
she doesn't get on the internet. I mean, she's almost 90. And so it's important that we help those that can't do it because they don't have the technology to do it. So I think it's important for, there to be more of a constructive effort to outreach to them. And I think the idea was the pharmacies would reach out to their patients that get prescriptions filled there. But I think they were also inundated with requests from everybody that they're
Mhm.
struggling to get through these lists of hundreds and thousands of people who have signed up on their website. So I'm hopeful that the most priority will get it, but I'm afraid that some of them will fall through the cracks. So hopefully
Well,
we'll
the
see that.
reason I got it, because I wasn't supposed to be up to bat yet, and because the vaccines expire, they go bad. And so and all of the frontline workers here that were eligible didn't sign up. And so we got kind of pushed in, but in Arizona, control is kept strictly at the county level, and they distribute, and they're only distributing through pods, points of distribution. So I think in Maricopa County, where I live, we have 5 county points of distribution and 1 run by the state. And so Princess and I drove out to the state fairground and drove through the little maze and all the checkpoints, and I stayed in my car and got vaccinated both times. So it's such a strange dystopian
It is.
living in. So
It really is. Yeah. I think they're more successful though when they can make appointments, because those drive-in ones like down in Florida made the press about, elderly people are waiting for hours and hours in their car and then didn't get the shot. And so like my mother-in-law, she had an appointment at a pharmacy in BB. So she went at the appropriate time. She got her first one. In a couple of weeks, she'll get her second one. And she's very excited to have it and get it behind her. And I think the big thing is, even if it's not 100% effective, it's really 100% effective against serious illness and death.
Yeah.
So, and if you get it, it's just going to be a mild case. And that's just so important for our nursing home residents and those that have other chronic health conditions. So,
Well, and I did have an appointment. I didn't want you to think we're.
oh yeah, okay.
You know, we are the 48th state. It's a little bit of a cowboy culture, but I did.
Well, Florida, I don't understand why they were doing that. So I think it's important to, because, you know, it's hard and it's frustrating for a lot of people to be waiting for so long. I know a lot of the testing facilities, there's been a lot of waiting to get in and get tested. And, you know, if you're symptomatic and you don't feel good, you don't want to sit in a car for a long period of time wanting to get a test. So, you know, but it's tough. The healthcare system is just, it's overwhelmed, and it's just a tough situation we're in. So.
And I want to be sympathetic to all the people who are working so hard to try and make that happen for the rest of us. And I would never want to push somebody else out of line, but gosh, I'm eager to get my shots.
No, I'm eager for you too.
Get out of the house. So Phyllis has something special coming up.
Oh, I do. Thank you, Alese. Well, so on February 11th, and that's just a couple of days from now, I am chairing Chocolate Fantasy Ball for the Ronald McDonald House. And normally that's a Thursday night. Normally it's a Saturday night gala, and we all dress up in our ball gowns and we drink champagne and wine and eat lots of chocolate and just have a wonderful dinner. But the point of it is we raise money for the Ronald McDonald House. So even though this year with COVID, we can't get together and do all of that, it's still the same mission. It's still the same house. They're still serving the same families. And so it's important to show up and help those families. So this year on February 11th at 6:30, we're having a FaceTime live virtual Chocolate Fantasy Ball. We will be broadcasting from the Ronald McDonald House, just a couple of blocks from Children's Hospital. And while we are talking, the families staying in the house are going to be treated to a very special gourmet meal by Mary Beth Ringgold, the chef at Capers. Yes, so she's gonna prepare something amazing for the families, which I know will include an amazing chocolate dessert. But also we're going to deliver 120 meals to the NICU, the families of the babies in NICU at Children's Hospital, UAMS, and Baptist Hospital.
Oh, wow.
So they'll get a special treat that night as well. Yeah. So
awesome.
But you need to tune in right now. We're already, and in the show notes, we'll have some links to the event. But we're already selling for a donation. There's a chance to win a Sissy's diamond bracelet. So we're excited about that. Yes. So you want to be sure and take advantage of that. And we'll actually do the drawing and announce that evening. But then in addition to that, we also have a silent auction that's going on. And there's some amazing things in the auction. There's like a trip to Cabo, and there's a beautiful gold necklace from Sissy's. It's gorgeous. So, and you'll see it that evening. So tune in live, and you'll be able to see that, but also a Super Bowl trip. And so it's pretty amazing. There's some really unique items, but there's lots of other things, handbags and
Super Bowl 2022, right?
2022 in Los Angeles. Yes. And it includes some parties with the players. And so it's been donated by one of the NFL players. So it's Clinton McDermott. So and his mama lives here in Little Rock. So he's always been so generous and so kind to the Ronald McDonald House. So we so appreciate that. But there's other amazing things that have been donated. Alese donated an amazing piece of art. So you need to hop online and bid for that as well. So
I want to stop for a second and ask, because I have been privy to seeing the work of art. And it brought tears to my eyes, honestly, as she was describing the inspiration behind it. Alese, are you comfortable as an artist? Am I asking you to breach any kind of artist code or something to talk about the
No, we're
work?
fine. I meant to cue a copy of a photo up and I forgot to do that. So what was really amazing about working on this piece of art? Well, let me first tell you what Ronald McDonald House does. They provide hotel rooms, I think free, right, Phyllis?
Well, there's actually, the house has rooms that have private showers and private bathrooms. So in the past, the old house had communal bathrooms. And so in 2016, we had a capital campaign started, I guess, around 2014. And in 2016, we started building the new Ronald McDonald House, and that opened in November of 2016. And every room has a private bathroom. We have a couple of suites that have kitchenettes, and those are for mainly, the longer term stay. Like, let's say a family has to come and bring a child for radiation therapy, and they know they're going to be there for 6 or 8 weeks. The child's not in the hospital, but they can stay in one of those suites. It's a little more comfortable. The whole family can come. It keeps the family together. The siblings can be there. And generally we have a toy room that the siblings can go pick something out their first night there to help them feel more at home. The stories are just amazing. So I think, at least that's where you're going with some of the
that's where I would say
stories. Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, so I'll get to the stories in just a minute, but I have to tell you that I have camped out in the waiting room at Children's Hospital many times because my daughter was a heart patient there. And we would have been so grateful, even though we live here in town, it would have been huge to be able to stay on campus and not be so far away from her. And I would have killed for somebody to bring me dinner. So I think what you guys are doing is awesome. But so this piece of art, I got Phyllis to help me get some thank you notes that parents had written to the house. And it was real hard to read them. I cried several times because they were just so appreciative. See, I'm going to cry again.
I was thinking that. I was
Right
going
here on the
I know,
podcast.
we'll all get started. I'm not that good of an editor, guys. We can't do that.
It'll all be fun. Anyhow, Phyllis and the head of the McDonald House sent me these notes, and I took sentences out of them and wrote them on the canvas that I was working on. And then I made the letters all cute. And if you don't actually get close to it, you may not realize that's what it is. But it's real heartfelt thank yous from the families who have been there. And then I went and found these milk chocolate covered Legos and built a freeform heart to put over the top of all that. And I was pretty pleased with the way it turned out. It's a little steampunk and probably not to everyone's taste, but it was fun to do.
It's awesome. I feel super privileged that Phyllis and I got to see it first.
You guys are awesome.
Absolutely. And the meaning behind it, it's so impactful. So at least thank you. Thank you for doing that.
They do so much. Janelle Mason, the executive director, used to be my neighbor, and she just works so hard, and their mission is incredible what they do. Okay, can I get surface level a second and talk about our glamorous chick who's been featured in High Profile recently and in Soiree? And can we talk about the dress? Do you know Chad, our friend Dr. Chad Rogers, he texted me one morning, you need to see the dress. He sent a picture. So, I mean, the dress is gorgeous. Describe it, and are you going to be wearing it the night of the ball?
Well, thank you.
Uh-oh. We got a free
dress. It's a sleeveless dress. It's mermaid, and it's blue, but then it's got these other kind of different shimmers of blue in it. It's really hard to describe, but it's a beautiful dress. It's a fun dress. It was fun wearing it. And the photographer, he was amazing. And the staff of Soiree made me feel like a princess. So it was really fun to do. And, whatever I can do to represent the house. Now, am I going to wear it that evening? Well, there's been a debate that we don't want to be formal that evening, maybe cocktail. But so I had decided to wear this cocktail dress, but now it came back up today. And so I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. We'll be looking.
Thinking we're going cocktail, but they even suggested, so in the soiree picture, some of the necklace and the earrings and bracelet and rings are from Sissy's. They loaned those to me for the photo shoot. So they said, well, if you wear that dress that evening, we'll bring the jewelry back over and you can wear it again. So I was like,
that decides that.
So, but I want us all to be dressed,
yeah,
similarly. So, and if I wear this other dress, I think I can wear that beautiful gold Sissy's necklace that's going to be auctioned off. So there's that too. So
win-win.
So it'll be a surprise. You have to tune in to find out what I'm going to wear.
Well, and one of you mentioned earlier, so we'll have links in our show notes and they'll be able to link to the website where they can participate in the drawing for the bracelet, right? And then they can also link to the silent auction. When does it go live?
The silent auction goes live sometime the morning of the 11th. So on that Thursday, but it will stay open through Sunday, the 14th. So you'll have several days to bid. And then hopefully you'll be the winner of something amazing for Valentine's Day. Oh, and there's a Labrador puppy. What was it? A white or a blonde? I don't remember what the shade of color is, but a Labrador puppy that's been donated by a breeder. So that will be fun too. Who gets to take home a puppy? So I think there's some really neat things. So you have to tune in, but we have to remember everything you do goes to support the families, goes to support. I mean, this event raises 30% of the operating funds for the house.
Wow.
No pressure, right?
No pressure.
And you're the perfect chair, Phyllis. Wow, I mean, they have the perfect chair. I've been honored to work alongside with you on some committees that you've chaired, and you do it with grace and elegance, and you have a gift for it. And doing it during COVID, I don't know how you do it, but you're doing it beautifully.
Well, thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. But I also should say that there's also another opportunity. If you don't like anything in the auction and you don't want to try to win a bracelet, there is share a night. And share a night is simply that. There's donation levels to share 1 night, 5 nights, 30 nights for families to stay in the house. And I'm very pleased to say my company is sponsoring Share a Night. So AFMC is the sponsor.
Awesome.
But also Susie and Charles Morgan are matching donations. So it's an opportunity to get a match as well. So absolutely. So I think it's really amazing. So there's lots of different ways to participate and help the family.
Okay, well, talking about Chocolate Fantasy Ball, it's always right before Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
As your singleton friend, what are you lovely ladies doing for Valentine's Day? Make me jealous, make me sad.
Oh, I'm not going to make you jealous.
Do you have traditions? I mean, what's the plan? Anybody already gotten into the chocolate or anything around your house?
Well, I did order Doug what are those? Dark chocolate velvet. I can't remember. Anyhow, you know where the chocolate's kind of red?
Red velvet cake.
That. Yeah. Senility's a horrible thing. I ordered him one of those from Caroline's Cakes in South Carolina. And hopefully that'll be his Valentine / anniversary treat, because our anniversary is 2 days later.
You're coming up on your 30th anniversary.
I am.
Phyllis just celebrated her 30th wedding anniversary. What the heck?
Right?
30 days. 30 years.
Okay,
I'm going to toast both of you for 30 years. I have to drink.
I can't believe he's put up with me that long.
But will be spending my Valentine's Day with Princess, my boxer. And I am going to go. My favorite treat here in the Valley, my favorite treat are macarons. And last year on Valentine's Day, I treated myself to a massage and I took a macaron class, which they're very hard to make. You will never get a homemade one from me. But there is a baker in the Valley who makes them fresh and sells them fresh, where everybody else is getting theirs made somewhere else in a factory and shipping them in frozen. And they're to die for. So I'm going to go on Saturday and purchase myself some macarons.
Excellent.
And have Valentine's Day with my favorite Valentine, my
And what are you going to drink with your macarons?
Oh, probably some sparkly. I don't know. What was your best Valentine's Day either? Because some people think it's a Hallmark holiday. Some people think it's very fun. I have super mixed emotions about it. What was your best? I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, probably my first husband used to take me out to dinner at really fancy restaurants. And then he would take me to a jewelry store and let me pick out whatever I wanted.
Is he still single? No, I'm just
No.
Dang, that's a good one. What about you, Phyllis?
Well, oh my gosh, that's pretty crazy to think what my best was. But what you said before, chocolate fantasy ball falling around Valentine's Day. And so it's actually fallen on Valentine's Day before. And so to be there with chocolate martinis and champagne and wine and chocolate, like a sea of chocolate. I mean, chocolate everywhere, amazing chocolate. And those were always fun times to be at that. And I think that's always a lot of fun. But I do like a very nice meal out. So this Valentine's, we've been treating ourselves to Bella Luna, or is it Luna Bella? I forget. I get that mixed up. But it's an Italian restaurant in Hot Springs. And so we get to-go orders. And that's what we had for our anniversary. And it was amazing. And an amazing bottle of champagne. And so we'll probably do that, but also continue bidding to win something really fun from the Chocolate Fantasy Ball. So,
well, mine was, I have to do it PG, but I was engaged to an anesthesiologist one time, and we were in the process of trying to go from Little Rock to DC, and he was out there. So I flew out to DC. And do you remember Barbara Graves?
Yes.
I love like my granny panties and t-shirts to sleep in and all that, but I went to Barbara Graves and made a special purchase. And when I flew into DC, he picked me up and we went out to dinner at a lovely restaurant and had a lovely evening. But it was my one and only purchase. I hate that store went out of business. I think they did.
I know. I couldn't believe it didn't sell.
I know. She had such a distinctive voice.
She does.
But anyway, that was
I miss those days of really nice lingerie. I was the queen of frilly lingerie at one point.
Really? See, that was my I'm just not even gonna go there. But it was nice. It was fun. It was out of character for me. It's warm in here. Anyway, speaking of chocolate, do we have some?
Oh, yeah. We're putting up with chocolate in here.
Yeah.
I have a little, Godiva.
I have the same box as Alese. However, there's a little problem with my box. Apparently, my husband got into it. And so now look at my box. I mean, seriously,
oh man,
nothing left but dark chocolate.
Well, that's my favorite.
So apparently he loves the milk chocolate. So he ate all of those. I did salvage one white chocolate. So that's for me.
So I like that the Godivas came with a chart. So I can figure out which ones have coconut in them, which is my favorite.
Chart.
Yes. Well, the chart helped Johnny find out the ones that were
milk chocolate. Alese already tasted. What did you taste? So what did you taste?
Coconut, of course.
Oh, coconut. As much as I love you, whenever you answer those questions about favorite chocolate and you say almond joy, like it chips a little bit away at my soul. But
Oh, sorry.
no,
I hate
not
to
when
do
there's a
this.
good old Baby Ruth or something out there.
Oh, Baby Ruth. Those are my favorite as a kid. Oh my gosh. Oh, those were the best.
I found in my effort to, because proprietors are struggling here in the Valley too. I live in Scottsdale, part of the Valley, but I found this wonderful, back home in the South, we would call it a mom and pop shop of this couple where she started making chocolates in her home. And I'm gonna put this link in the show notes because you can order online. These people were fabulous. They bring in all their beans. They're ethically sourced. They make all of their chocolate in the factory that's just a couple of miles from my house. And they started out in her kitchen, and they do it. And it's called Zach's Chocolate, and they're just gorgeous. They make everything. They make chocolate drinks.
Is that gold on top of that heart?
This one?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yep, that one.
It is an Earl Grey lavender chocolate. I'm going to taste it. I think it looks to me like I don't think you see it looks like white chocolate.
Oh, okay.
With top. But also look at this one. This one is cayenne mango.
Ooh.
And if you go on their website, it's called Zach's Chocolate. They even do they suggest your wine pairings for different chocolates they have. And all of the chocolates in my box I bought paired very well with a sparkling wine. So I'm drinking a Spanish cava this evening called Marqués de Cachere. I don't know how to say it. We're going to say Marqués de Cachere. And so that's what I'm having with my chocolate this evening. But I'll try, at least since she pointed to the heart, I will try that. It's Earl Grey lavender.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really like dark chocolate with pepper in it. Like,
this is all dark chocolate. That's what they make.
That's awesome. Next time we come out and visit, we have to go.
You guys have come out once. And we were supposed to go hot air ballooning, and the winds were nasty.
Yep.
So you've got to plan it.
We've had a bit over.
Vaccines, and then we're going. So you guys remember
no
how
COVID at 20,000 feet or whatever you do. I don't know.
Well, that's true, but we got to get there. So you guys remember how we used to like Naomi a lot? It was like a go-to wine.
On the Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so apparently the guy that there's some whole long story, and Jonathan can tell us when he comes to visit, but the guy that ran that vineyard or owned it, he's no longer with them. And so he's now making this other wine.
I was like, did he die or what? Oh, he left.
No, he's alive. It's a Boen.
Bon? Bon?
Yeah, something like that.
To me for all of your pronunciation.
Right? It tastes just like the old Naomi.
Where's it sourced? Is it Russian River Valley? Where is it sourced? Willamette?
Mm. It doesn't say on the label.
Pinot Noirs.
It's in Monterey County.
Okay, so California.
Yeah, definitely California.
What are you drinking, Phyllis?
Well, of course, I love a cab. So this is Kith and Kin. And Kith and Kin has a little bit of a story for me. I was first introduced to Kith and Kin. I'm a member of O'Looney's Wine Club, which is Shamrock Selects. So Kith and Kin was in Shamrock Selects one month. And so I loved it so much, I had to get more of it. And then several people that I work with have gotten it because they've tried it from what I've had and they love it. Well, now we've learned Samantha's has it on tap. They call it on tap, but
really
not really on tap. Yes. So, and I must admit, so this talk about not wanting to go anywhere, I had to go to the office for a socially distancing meeting with our board chair. And post that meeting, me and two co-workers went to Samantha's.
I'm so jealous.
We masked up. We went to Samantha's. We not only had we shared a bottle of Kith and Kin, and I was really bad cheese dip and salsa, so it was bad. But we continued our meeting, so it was very important. But they've taken half the tables out, so your distance. The staff is wearing masks, and so I really felt safe because we went early and it wasn't very crowded. So.
Well, I'm looking at our clock and we're coming up on an hour. I think we're going to try to we're going to be flexible, but do one of you want to tease the next episodes? We've already foreshadowed and hinted at this person's name and gift.
Yes. So Jonathan Looney, the owner of O'Looney's, who was in Vistage with us, and we all just love him so much.
Adore.
He's amazing. And even though I'm a member of his wine club, he's going to be on in a couple of weeks, and we are not tasting wine. We are having a whiskey tasting with Jonathan.
We are tasting whiskey.
So tune in for that. It will be fun. We're looking forward to seeing Jonathan, and of course, virtually, but we'll all have our whiskey and we'll be ready to taste. So
I can't wait to see him on screen even.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show. So be sure and tune in.
Well, as we are wrapping up, I'm gonna very quickly just ask, we hope that you've enjoyed listening to us. If you're listening to a podcast, we hope to get these up on YouTube or IGTV, so you may be watching us. Depends on the editing. But we would love for you to subscribe, first of all. This is our first out of the gate podcast. We put a whole lot of work and love into it. And so we would love you to go to wherever you listen to podcasts. I listen a lot of times on Apple, and search for for Legit Chix podcast and subscribe. That's the first ask I'm going to make. The second one is we'd love for you to rate us and leave a review, because that would help us. If we can get enough listeners at some point, we can maybe get someone to produce our podcast, which then you wouldn't have to listen to my editing. We would love to have you participate. We're thinking maybe at some point of having some segments on of like Ask the Chicks or Chicks Picks, things like that. But in our website, which will be linked in the show notes, that's www.legitchix.com, but it'll be in the show notes. Our website is there. You can go to the website. You can email us. And we would love to know if you want the three of us to tackle something. You've got a tech wizard entrepreneur, a CPA, CFO, and me, and an attorney. I have a little bit of knowledge compared to the other two. And we can try to read your emails on air, where you can keep it anonymous if you want, but send us suggestions for who you'd like to hear from, or what you'd like us to talk about, or if you want us to answer a particular question you have. And please share this with your friends. Social media is awesome. Facebook, we have a Facebook account, Legit Chix. We have an Instagram account. We may have some more soon, and please share. You can send by email, you can't talk at the water cooler, talk on your Zoomcast with your buddies, and ask them to give us a listen. We surely appreciate it. I'll turn it over to Alese.
Well, I just wanted to say we also have a Twitter account, and for some reason, instead of being @Legit Chix, it's @Chix Legit. Go figure. But come find us either way. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been just a ton of fun, and we hope you'll keep it legit until next time. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Love you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.